welcome to the garden. Today I'm preparing my succulents for summer. We're going to give them all a really healthy drink of water so they can soak up as much as they can. I'm also going to be adding a little bit of this liquid fertilizer. That'll give them enough energy to grow all summer long. Before we give these all a drink, I'm actually going to do some maintenance. I'm going to start by pruning our Cursula perforata, or stacking jade. These are starting to flop all over the place. They're just too tall for their own good. Some of these are already kind of flopped over, so we can just start by cutting those back. This one actually has a lot of new growth, so we can use that as a sort of height guide. I'm going to cut just above that, so as these grow up, they'll kind of grow together. And we can plant out our new cuttings, but we do want to let them heal for at least 24 hours. When we do plant these out, we're going to bury a lot of the stem. They can grow roots anywhere along that stem, but first we want to clear out these leaves. So if you split them in half, they fall right off the stem. These can actually be propagated as well, and they do better when they're split in half like this. But just like our stem, we want to allow these to heal for at least 24 hours. That shiny open wound needs to callus. So let's just prune back all of these taller stems. Look at how far over these have flopped. So that's looking nice and fresh. Now we'll work on this one a bit. So this pruning back of the stems, although drastic, actually benefits the plant. Eventually these will just drag down the entire container. Now some of these ones in the middle are really symmetrical and they're not quite as tall as some of these ones in the back, so I'll leave those for now. But look at these ones back here. This one in the middle is so much taller than the rest. That's huge. So it looks like the limit was like somewhere around here and then it just toppled. On these stems that have toppled over, you want to try and trace them back all the way to where it kinks. So these two containers did lose a lot of their height, but they will regrow. And now they don't risk being toppled over by their own weight. And all these cuttings can be planted out and form new containers like this little tiny pot, or these which were just little crown cuttings. These are just beautiful. I love how symmetrically they grow. A lot of these are just too long to plant, so I like to cut them into segments. Sometimes I'll remove the entire crown, and that's one little plant. And then we can split this up into segments of 5 or 6 inches. Doesn't matter that they don't have crowns, they're going to grow new crowns out of the top. It is important to keep these upright. If you plant them upside down, they're going to act really strange and try to grow roots out of the top, and they're going to grow the rosettes underground. So you want to keep them upright. But just this one stem gave us 4 new plants. But we're going to start a new container. So I've taken a few of these and lined them up to the same length. I've stripped down the leaves to the same length. So now these are ready to heal and then can be planted out. I actually use a little trick and plant these early in dry soil. That way they heal overnight in this dry soil and we can go in and water tomorrow. This is probably the easiest way to start a new container. And you're actually pruning your plant while you're getting new cuttings. And as long as those stems are nice and strong and your soil is nice and loose, they should plant very easily. And just like that, we've got a brand new container. And because we haven't watered these in yet, if I decide I don't like this arrangement, I can always just redo it tomorrow morning. My sedum don't need nearly as much work. All I'm going to do is cut back some of these spent flowers. They bloomed for the entire month of May. It was really beautiful. But now they're completely done, so I'm just going to prune these back. I even had flowers on my tiny pot, and that was really cool. But those are spent, so I'm just going to cut them down. And that's just a really easy way to clean them up. They look much nicer. So now all that's left to do is give these a huge communal drink. I like to combine them all in the same basin so that they can really soak up that water. It's basically like taking the kids to the pool. Succulents have a natural sunscreen in the form of this powdery white coating. It can actually be brushed away, so you do want to be careful not to contact the leaves too much. Anywhere that this is rubbed away, the leaves are more likely to get burned and they'll probably turn a little bit red or maybe even brown. Now I'm going to add some all-purpose liquid fertilizer. I'm just going to shake it up, and this is concentrated, so it needs to be watered down anyways. Now I'll just give this a stir, and we'll add our plants back in, and they can drink up that beautiful, beautiful fertilizer. And because we're using such a large basin, we should have enough water left over to do an entire another round of plants. So I'm going to bring out some more succulents, and we'll do a whole nother round just like this. I want to let these sit for about an hour and really soak up as much liquid as they can. Now when I bring these back inside, I want to be careful how close I put them to the glass. Especially in summer, it can get incredibly hot right next to a window. So setting them back just a couple inches is enough to cool them down, and they also don't get quite as much extreme sun. So you do want to make sure they're not right up close to a window. But now is a great time to fertilize your succulents, and this method of letting them sit in a basin and really drink in as much water as they can is incredibly healthy. I hope you give this a go in your garden. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.